guys, so since the last time we talked, a lot has happened. Literally, after I recorded the very last video on this channel, I get a phone call from my wife. Her mother's in the hospital. She ended up getting released the next day. They kept her overnight, but she wasn't feeling good. Her blood pressure spiked up, so they ran tests, and so that kind of threw everything, out of the whack the last couple of days. My wife came to the realization her parents are going to live forever. It kind of really, hit her pretty hard. I can understand that. About 9 years ago, when my dad was originally diagnosed with emphysema, it just hit me. He wasn't going to live forever, and it hit me kind of hard. Tore me up pretty hard. Tore me up pretty bad in the inside. But also, I knew he was on his clock was ticking. Right, it was just a matter of time. And then 7 years later, he ended up getting cancer in the bloodstream and in the brain, and well, a month later he was gone. But I knew it was coming, so it wasn't as bad as not knowing at all. And so that kind of hit her pretty hard, because just a month ago, her mother and her were talking about how she doesn't know any of the information she needs just in case something were to happen to her mother, and then bam, a month later this happened. So it just hit her like a rock. So we deal with that, and I can understand that situation, that kind of stuff, because it's hard. It really is hard. You think they don't live forever, but you think they're going to live forever until something bad happens. And but another cooler things that happened today, I let my son play Mario Kart on the Wii. He's been bugging me to play it ever since I started playing it online over the last couple weeks with some friends from YouTube. And the reason I haven't let him try it is because Cars on the Wii, he's played that several times, and he just has a hard time with the controls. But today I said, okay, I let him play it, and he wasn't trying to get first. He got in last every time, but he was just having fun. Like, he liked going off in the water or off the side, or just goofing around, having fun, which is what it's all about. And so he wanted to play online. I let him play online because it's the Wii. You don't hear anybody talk to you or say anything bad. So, and he was just having fun. Actually, one of the races on there, he actually got 5th place. But I can only imagine one of the races, because he actually, there was a track where there's actually a green pipe. You drive through it in the road, and he ended up stopping driving. He ended up going back and forth in the green pipe like this, and I can only imagine what those people online were thinking. But also, we did play with my friends YouTube today, and my wife, me, and my son were rotating the Wii controller, since the Wii only allows you to play 2 people online at the same time with one console. But it was a lot of fun. Had a blast. That was really cool. Other cool things that had happened was the Toy Fair 2012 has happened over the weekend, and Hasbro showed a lot of cool stuff, like some of the Fall of Cybertron figures. They have not announced or shown Grimlock yet, but they did show the Bruticus and the Combaticons, and they showed Optimus, and a lot of the Transformers that are coming in the game. They did not show anything that has not yet been announced for the game yet. But they also showed something really cool. Now, they didn't say anything about this ever being on sale or anything, but they showed a purple G.I. Joe / Transformer crossover. It was a purple Hisstank Shockwave transformed into a purple Hisstank, and it looks awesome, seeing the Hisstank with the purple cannon on the back as a weapon. They also showed it with a recolored Destro. And it also showed a miniature G1 Soundwave with little miniature cassettes. That looked really awesome, man. If they ever release that, I'd have to get it, because it looks so cool. A lot of cool Transformer stuff. There's also February 18th, Transformer Prime starts 2nd season on TV. And they're also going to have a second Transformer series called Transformers Bot Shots, which is for little kids. It's not for, so they're going to have 2 different series. They got toys out for it. The names aren't exactly like the regular Transformers, and they're more for little kids than adults, so that'll be interesting to see how that goes. Really trying to expand the line. One of the things that was depressing over the Toy Fair was they did announce that they're pretty much going to cancel a lot of the next wave of the movie Transformers. So that came out in other places, but what can you expect? If you like the movie Transformers, I don't hate them, but I don't care for them. Just ironically enough, my son for Christmas got the Blue NASCAR movie Transformer, and he had tried to transformer and it was stuck, and I had to retransform it into the car, which was a little bit of fun. But I did, because I don't have the instructions anymore. But I did get it transformed, so that was kind of cool. Actually, today I was watching Sequest season 3. Now, I never got into Sequest, by the way, when it was on TV in 1990. Well, season 3 was in 1993. Because at the time, it just, to me, seemed like a ripoff of other science fiction stuff. And my wife was, ironically, a big fan of it. So she got the first 2 seasons on DVD, and I watched it and fell in love with it. And so I decided, since there was a marathon on the other day, and I saw the very first episode of season 3, and I got interested in it, I started watching a little bit of it on Netflix. I really say, it's a shame I missed it when it came out, because it's a really cool series. What else has been going on? Oh yeah, the YouTube gaming community, I've been working on that, but that's going to be a day late because of everything's going on. I did play Modern Warfare 3 with people in the community. Had a lot of fun. We actually, at one of our games, we had people who were camping against us in the game. And it's funny because you can camp all you want, but when you start learning people's patterns in the game, you know the map, you learn their patterns, you know how to, like, where they're going to be and what they're going to do. And we were winning, even though they kept camping, and eventually they actually did the thing of all quitting the game, so the game ended. Which is funny. I always laugh when people do that, like, you're going to miraculously, like, make yourself better. Like, that's going to really, you know, affect your statistics. You bought out of one game. If you're that bad, it doesn't matter. You're still going to have bad numbers. Besides, it's about having fun. I don't really care about how many, you know, death to kill ratio I have, or if I'm the best person on the team or the last. It's about having fun. Which I have been playing more Transformers, more for Cybertron. Been playing the multiplayer. Been playing Escalation. Bought the map pack 1 for the Transformers War for Cybertron, which comes with basically the 4 characters that were exclusive depending on where you bought it. Like, one was exclusive with Amazon, one was Best Buy, and it came with another 5th character. I can't remember who it is. And then a couple Escalation new maps and a couple new multiplayer maps. So I still gotta get map pack 2, which does come with more maps for the multiplayer and Escalation, and 2 new characters. But been having a lot of fun with the new maps and the new characters. It's really a lot of fun playing that game. It's just weird that I looked and saw that the Transformers Fall for Cybertron, according to the websites, isn't coming out till the 31st of December this year. That seems awful far out. I thought that game was going to come out sooner. Maybe they had their dates wrong. I don't know. But and also been digging into the stock market a little bit. Like Microsoft, seeing that the last quarter they made $20 billion, which was the most money they've ever made, and how they sold a lot of Office 2010 license. And I know they're ramping up for Windows 8. When they're actually going to release that, I don't know, but I know they're getting ready to show, starting to show previews of that and stuff. So that's going to be the next operating system. And Windows 7, by the way, is not a bad operating system. I just don't know if they're going to replace XP, because XP is still the dominant Windows operating system, because there's nothing wrong with it. And that's Microsoft's problem with personal businesses. Businesses don't need to churn over year to year. A lot of businesses, like when I worked at this place that printed stuff, paper stuff, they did a lot of printing. They were still using Windows 95, because in that landscape they don't need to switch over. This is Microsoft's problem with Windows. XP was a solid operating system. It ran fine. Why am I going to switch over? I mean, I know they're pretty much going to cut off support. They've cut off support to it, so that's probably the only way that eventually they're going to get people to switch. But you know, they've got more competition, you know, with Apple, you know, slowly gaining ground and that stuff, you know. I know the smartest thing Microsoft's doing is trying to push the Windows 8 platform to mobile phones, so that may be their growth factor. But they make a lot of money off Windows, by the way. I believe they make like 80% profit off each one they sell, so it's not like, you know, they lose any money whatsoever off that operating system. And Microsoft is in so much stuff. I know people like to think they're just an Xbox and an operating system, but Microsoft is in so much stuff now that they make so much money. It's not funny. It really isn't. They're one of those solid companies that, even though their stock doesn't move much between 28 and 30, they make a lot of money, and sooner or later they'll have to either increase their dividend or buy something. Which is funny, they're putting so much pressure on Apple to buy something big, because Apple has always bought medium to small companies, and why would you risk turning into a Time Warner AOL situation, right? That was got to be one of the worst buys in the history of the stock market, where AOL buys Time Warner. But the flaw was Time Warner is a much bigger company than AOL. So when AOL merged with Time Warner, actually Time Warner engulfed AOL because all the management and all the employees were outnumbered. So their philosophy got pushed onto AOL, and it was just a disaster. One of the biggest disasters in the stock market history, because AOL has yet to recover from that with a lot of bad decisions, let's be honest here. So, you know, Time Warner looks. One of the interesting things this week is Whitney Houston passing away. That Sony, I believe, is having a big meeting on what to do with their 9 albums plus their collection album. They want to release it, but because their autopsy hasn't come out yet, they're scared to because they don't know what happened to her. And she also has a movie coming out in August with 2 songs she got on it. So you know that low budget movie is going to get pushed up to one major studio releasing it, and you know they're going to make a big deal. Her songs are going to be out there, and they're going to pump that out like crazy to try to milk, you know, her for all they got. Because unlike Michael Jackson, where he owned all of his music, Whitney Houston doesn't own her music. So the music companies are going to make a lot of money off her. Her estate's not going to get much at all from the sales of her albums and her music. One of the biggest things about music is you can sing all you want. If you do not write your own music and do not own your songs. That's why a lot of guys who write music today, you see them have their own companies and own the music, because that's where all the money's made, is off the music, owning the music, not singing it. After your career's over, you're making all the money off the songs. You're not making money off singing anymore. So that was a lot of cool stuff that went on. So that's pretty much what's been going on in my world, guys. I will talk to you guys all hopefully tomorrow.